Today we're going over the sedimentary process. The sedimentary process is composed of a couple steps. The first step is you got to have a rock. The rock is then broken down through the process of weathering. Weathering can be done two different ways: through mechanical weathering, which is through something like a tree growing up through it, ice freezing and melting, expanding the rock. Or there is the other way, which is chemical weathering, which could be like acid rain falling on the rock, breaking it apart. So if we were to break this rock apart, we'll see the smaller chunks inside that we've got. And these smaller chunks then move on to the next step, which would be erosion. Erosion is how you get the little rocks to other places, such as through landslides or giant gusts of wind moving the little rocks around. Typically, they'll move into a lower area or some other place with more sediments in it. In this example, we're going to use an imaginary riverbed. So if the rocks were to flow along, they'd slowly drop in, which would be the next step, which is deposition. It's depositing into the riverbed. So as you can see here, they're kind of there on top. As more time passes, more sediments will deposit on top of the ones that we just put in. And then we move on to the next step, which these layers that are slowly get built up will start to weigh on the areas and they'll start to compact in. So the next step is compaction. And then the last step we have that could form the rock is cementation, where the materials of like the word says, cement, can slowly seep into the rock and just take up the properties of cement, forming the rock together. Eventually we get, over time, a rock like this. As you can see, little rocks that came from our original one and all the other sedimentation that has happened around it from other rocks.